All right, guys, welcome to episode 485 of Artcasters. We got a great returning guest, a good friend of mine. We'll get into how we ended up doing this live stream, and we're gonna try to kind of make it themed around kidlit and agents, but it's gonna be kind of a smorgasbordy episode. So welcome to everybody in the chats. Hey Dylan, hey Gary. Keeman's here. We got Drink the Paint Water, who's been a previous guest. Amazing artists in the chats. As we're going, check out everybody's work in the chats. Like these are all incredible artists we got in our community. Before we kind of introduce our guests, let's just let people know where to find our stuff. So I'm Josh Kemble. You're on my channel. If you haven't, hit the bell so you get notifications when I'm about to go live. You want to buy Jacob's Apartment and Two Stories, my indie books, and you want to check out my music on Spotify under Joshua Kemble. And if you want to see live streams of that and stuff too, make sure you stay tuned on this channel because I make art, and now I actually will record music while I do live streams and stuff like that. So if that's interesting to you, or you need music in the background, check out Joshua Kemble, or Nova Saboteurs is my other band too. All right. Scott, where's the most important place in the world people should go if they're Artcasters fan?
For right now, up until the day before Halloween, I am running a Kickstarter campaign for my Gross Out stickers. If you're a fan of Garbage Pail Kids, Wacky Packages, or just kind of that crazy humor you used to get from Mad and Crack magazine, it's all right here. These are wax pack trading cards, just like back in the day. And it's just my interpretation of the grossest foods I could come up with. And there's all kinds of fun stuff on the back. And each pack comes with a refrigerator magnet, a stick of bubble gum. But these are available on Kickstarter right now. There's a link in the description. I think Josh put that link in there. So yeah, you can just click on that, go check out the campaign. And if it strikes your fancy, please back it. There's all kinds of cool stuff. So jump on this. And other than that, I also launched a brand new YouTube channel called Retro Art Lab. I'm going to be moving all of my content where I kind of reinvent retro ephemera and nostalgia from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, that Gen X era. The stuff I've been doing recently, I'm moving it to a brand new channel. And then my existing channel will start to focus more on comic books again. So, but I'm trying to grow that channel. It's brand new. And so far, I'm getting a good response. I'm actually, the ratio of views to subscribers is way better on this new channel right now than my older channel. So, but I want to keep that momentum going. So please go there and check that out and subscribe. Also, new videos, more frequent videos. I got a video launching every single week on that channel. So check it out there.
And if you guys are watching live, you might see the attempt at doing the screen share of It Came From the Fridge. And for some reason, Kickstarter has a thing floating over it that's like, we use personal data. Okay, great. But I can't click that. So Kickstarter, fix that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. But yeah.
It Came From the Fridge, though. Make sure you check that out. Okay. I didn't cut you off. Sorry, I got distracted by that. Did I cut you off, Scott?
No, I'm just going to I'm not going to bombard you a bunch of other stuff. I've always got other stuff on my website, but the main two things are the new channel and that Kickstarter.
Yeah, do both. Subscribe to the new channel and make sure you guys check out the It Came From the Fridge. These cards are awesome and authentic looking, and they even come with gum. I mean, it's the coolest thing ever. So, and you should see that little display case. I want the case. All right, Chris Kawagiwa is our guest.
Hello.
So, Chris, where can people check out your stuff and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, you can find my website. It's chriskawagiwa.com, and that's hard, which it kind of is. You can just find me at sketchboy01 on Instagram. And my wife and I's combined thing is Kitten Rivet, KITNRIVET. And then I've also started a new property called Pawsmonauts, and that's kind of my new event. It's a space animals working together, space race era, sci-fi, Paw Patrol meets For All Mankind type thing. But yeah, mostly it's Sketchboy01. You can find me posting casual stuff, but also art on occasion too.
I love it. Okay, so this conversation kind of came about where Jim was saying sound quality is great tonight. Yeah, we're gonna work
Good.
out the
Right.
sound issues. We'll figure it out. How's it going, Jim? Yeah, so I'm glad to hear that. Let us know in the chats if the sound gets worse, and we'll fix it if we can.
Don't make any promises.
That's true. We might also this stream might also self-destruct. Who knows?
The minute I touch my microphone or move it closer to me, it
Yeah,
just shuts off.
It's fine.
It's the
I'm
curse.
just reading it wrong. Yeah.
You know what? What would be great is if this was like a slow build up to a bit where we're gonna have a ghost that's been haunting Scott's.
It's October.
Scott's
It's
thing.
like
I mean, it is October. David Hartman, are you out there? Are you? Did you send a ghost?
Yeah.
To
Are you getting
Scott's-
ready for our couple? What is it? Couple weeks now. It's gonna be our
Yeah.
Halloween show.
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, so Chris and I were talking. Like Chris had messaged me like a week ago, and Chris and I have known each other forever. We're old friends. Chris is an amazing artist. We've had him on the show before, but he just wanted to have a conversation, like one-on-one, with some questions. And I was like, I had just gotten to it because I'm juggling school, and then also the graphic novel. And I was realizing, like, I'm not going to have like many windows of time. So you want to just do Artcasters and we could go over it?
Yeah,
'Cause a
this
lot of it
works out.
sounded,
Yeah.
a lot of it sounded really interesting. So Chris kind of threw out the idea. He had a couple questions about like kidlit and agents. And I was thinking, well, the cool thing is I don't know a ton about kidlit. But I feel like between Scott, myself and Chris himself, like we can kind of sort out whatever it is. And also, you guys should always check out Chris's work because he's amazing. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah, when you brought up the topic, I'm like, well, I'm definitely not an expert on kidlit, and I'm trying to word the description and everything, and I'm like, I think this is going to be more us just exploring ideas because I don't know if any of us are really experts. So just so you know, if you came here for experts' opinion on kidlit, we're probably not the people. We're just talking about, I guess, how to approach it from understanding we have from other areas. I don't know. Is that accurate? Or are you an expert in kidlit, Chris?
No, not at all. That's
okay.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna just oh, go ahead.
I was hoping that you might have osmosis absorbed something from your wife's
Well, I think
mind.
maybe all of us may have a little bit. Yeah.
So that's the thing. I know a tiny bit about kidlit from that and from friends and stuff who worked in it, and then I definitely can answer questions about like writing representatives and stuff like that. So
right. That was
and then also we can talk about Pawsmonauts and stuff too, because I kind of wanted to hear about like the licensing expo and stuff, which I know was ancient times.
About? Yeah.
Oh, did you go to that?
Yeah,
I did.
Oh, I want to hear about that too.
Yeah, well, so initially that's what you wanted to talk about, but I feel like I'm just getting my feet barely wet here, and like if it's gonna be like everything I would report would be like what I'm learning currently, right? Like I've never actually licensed anything, and this is my first time going with some friends just to like understand that world, and I'm learning a lot how different it is than like direct consumer marketing. Like this is all business to business stuff, so you're trying to appeal to somebody that wants a property and you have this thing. But yeah, right now, like I have more questions than I have answers, right? So I can tell you what I learned, but it's very, I think like it's kind of in tandem with this, the questions that I have about like kidlit and agents and stuff though, because it's when you have an IP, I'm finding different avenues to explore like what to do with it. So I'm gonna use the property of the Pawsmonauts that I've been developing, and basically had these pins and prints, and basically that's all they were. Like there was no real story behind them. But I think I'm not sure what sparked it, but I realized that's my most popular thing that isn't somebody else's IP. Like it's not fan art, it's not like it's not a commission thing. But it was my best selling item was this. I think I have these space cats. So
I remember
these guys.
Yeah, and I remember, I think
So-
the first print that you did too of that, which was wasn't, am I crazy? Was it the cat was the first one, right? Or the
Yeah,
dog?
that was the first
Yeah.
one. No, the cat
Yeah.
was the first one because I love
And it was the
cats, but I
poster,
also love
right?
dogs. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
And it was done in that
so
old
cool.
kind of Soviet poster style from like, yeah,
Right.
it's so cool.
Here it is. I have a,
Yeah.
and this
Oh,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe I think you've seen how old this is. This is from like
We've
20
used-
years ago. Or
Yeah,
something,
we've used
right?
that. We when we had you on before, or one time we used that as the thumbnail.
Right. So
Well, I
basically, like
think-
it kind of evolved.
Yeah.
It evolved over time by actually adding more characters to the lineup. So you got rabbits.
Yeah.
So I can see you're holding up the rabbit print, and that compared to the one that we're using on screen right now, over your name, it looks like you cutified it a little bit.
Yeah, right. So that's the thing. I think I'm kind of started out in this sort of real like vintage turn of the century, like space race, Cold War era, like constructionist, like as if it was screen printed. But I'm trying to develop it into something that's a little bit more kid friendly. So it's more cartoony now, and it can evolve, right? But I think like I'm kind of basing it off of the pin design, which had to be simplified.
Yeah.
But using that character design, I basically reverse engineered a whole story around it, and now I have a children's book idea, and maybe a toy line pitch and cartoon pitch, and then possibly like a little animated simple game. You know, like I'm kind of firing on multiple cylinders to see what hits. And having friends advise on it and trying to get creative with the marketing with it. But I'm also just kind of sampling the odds and trying to tell people like, is this interesting? And so far it's been pretty, you know, it's been nice to like hear directly from people. You know, when I pitch them the story, here's the characters, here's the basic idea, and I really like audience involvement. And part of it is that like, I mean, Scott's even a part of the board now. I started this thing with I made my own newspaper. So it was,
I love it.
I wrote I created my own newspaper in order to promote it. So it exists simply like as if it was real, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a newspaper that talks like, who are they, right? And where do they come from? What are they all about? And I wrote these articles about like, well, how did we find out about them? It's like, well, there's this scene, right? And then, yeah, it was quite a bit of work because I just need 4 pages, but it's 4 pages of an entire newspaper.
Yeah.
But all these things are like, there's ad, right? There's Cirque Works, right?
Yeah. I love it.
Friends of mine, Ralph has a little post here, and then I have like ads for my other comics, like as in the real circus in town.
Yeah.
Like little astronaut candidacy program, little brain teaser things. And I would send these to friends all over the world or across the United States. And so Arizona is now on the map. If you go to the Pawsmonauts.com, there's a global map. And so far in Sweden, Japan, it's been in England. Somebody took it to Mount Shasta, I think. Or no, Mount Whitney.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm having fun with it, like physically these newspapers being globally around the world. And I'm trying to like pull favors for me, but that's part of the lore, right? The idea of like the whole thing is, and I want all the characters are international. They all come from different places. And I want people's like input and interaction, like who should be the next character, which animal represents this country well, and you know what are some culturally also like interesting things that people can learn about. So there's like a cultural but also a STEM thing because there's astronauts, so there's a lot of like sciencey bits too.
So is each Pawsmonaut gonna have like a STEM strength kind of thing?
Sure. I mean, it could. Yeah. I mean, they all have very distinct personalities, right? Like
nice.
Very serious, but the dog is playful. There's the Russian is a cat and dog, and then the Americans are an eagle and a possum. So one is very confident, the other one's shy, you know. And then there's the Chinese rabbit and panda. One's very fast, one's very slow, and so each kind of like exemplify different personalities, even though they're from the same country, and they have to like work with each other and pay off that type of thing. So it's
I love it.
It's kind of So that's as part of that. That's how I kind of got into Kidlit. Is like this is easy. It's easy to do a children's book. I feel is a little bit easier for me than to do an entire comic book, because like I initially wanted to do a comic, and I'm like, laying out panels, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I could do that many extra step, right? But it's its own beast. It's its own. Clearly, the more I'm learning about this, I'm like, I've never done a children's. Well, I did years and years ago, but it was like self-published stuff, So I'm learning about how to pitch these.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that I can kind of chime in on, just from like the few things I know. First off, like that's really cool how that evolved, and it's also cool that you're finding something where you could kind of incorporate all those elements of interactivity that you like, because if you guys have known Chris or ever seen him at a convention, especially, his booths are even interactive, right? There's always like some kind of game or something that's at the booth, so there's like some kind of interaction usually. He's had like mechanics where you twist something and things move, or he's had like kind of fortune teller kind of setups and stuff, so it's like it's cards that you like scratch to kind of reveal stuff as like promotional materials, and then clients have hired Chris to like kind of make that type of thing for them, like the can I mention the Disney stuff or no? I mean, I don't know. I don't think I can
mention that you can mention that I've worked for them, but not the project itself.
Not the project. Okay. There's a very cool project that Chris did that was a very interactive project. Yeah.
The coolest stuff I've ever worked on, I can never talk about. And this is why I kind of wanted to do this. It's like these are principles that I kind of like helped to generate for other people, but I can never share it. So I've like basically done my own version of it, like I can apply a lot of the things that I've done myself or done similarly, and like weave it into a whole interactive thing.
And I think that's also why I think it's great, and it's marketable in the sense that you have like assets that could be made into like toys or like blown out into and that's a good pitch for, I mean, first off, like any agent or kids book person or graphic novel person, luckily there's more money in picture books.
Is there? I guess so. Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, like kids books outsell graphic novels, like
I guess you're right. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. So graphic novels are the new kid.
Parent, I totally buy, like more books for my kid than I do comics for myself. It's
I mean, if you look at the sales numbers of like Goodnight Moon, that's gonna blow out pretty much. I can't imagine any comic book, even Dogman. Like, I don't know if it's gonna match those numbers. Dogman might be coming close now, but why did it start coming close? Because they stopped marketing Dogman just to comic shops, right? And they started treating it like kidlit, and kidlit's huge, right? Because we all have that moment, you got your kid, you want them to learn how to read, or you want them to like have a peaceful sleep, so you read a kid's book to them. They want something to look at. Kids love kids books, and it's a nice entry point to literacy. So it's huge, big market. Couple things. So we've had the Fan Brothers on, right? Well, we have one of the Fan Brothers on, right? Very successful kids book illustrator and writers. And it was Terry, right? We had Terry on, right, Scott? Or it wasn't?
I just muted because my dogs are going nuts.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it was Terry Fan we had.
Or my
on.
Speaker,
yeah. But he's probably the most successful for like kids like picture books, And then my wife's done a bunch of kids books. It's a weird market where I think the right way to do it, it's kind of good. I think that you have questions about it because it's like the agent thing, or the literary rep, right? Literary agent is probably your best bet because it just gets you entry points to different publishers. So. Right. And also like the most successful kids book artists I know, like the Fan Brothers work too, Chris, because they were around in Threadless days. So if you just Google the Fan Brothers, you're gonna instantly recognize like their t-shirts. They were usually like really rendered, and they'd have like cute animals or something like that mixed with like hot air balloons, like a lot of kind of steampunky type stuff, but very traditionally illustrated. but anyhow, they were like in the threadless scene back in the day, so that's kind of how I knew them. But it wasn't like, and they were I think at the time were like the best selling artists on threadless. So they had like, I don't know how many wins back when it was like a contest, you know.
Right.
But that's not what got them. I mean, so they were very famous online from that. But then that kind of led to, from what I understand, from what they were saying, was like a literary agent reached out and was like, do you guys have an interest in kids books? And they were like, yeah, we happen to. Yeah. And then they were like, well, let's develop something and pitch it around. And that's what got them to like Simon and Schuster. And then there's a lot of things that have to line up for that book to do as well as theirs. I guess Simon and Schuster, the year they published it, they lucked out in the sense that, and not just lucked out, they make beautiful work, right? But when we talked to him, he was saying it was kind of a weird thing, but by the time they had finished the book, you know, the publisher kind of picks like 2 books that they're going to put all their guns into,
all the marketing,
like,
marketing money and stuff.
Yeah, and they were like, so yours is one of them. So, you know, we're going to do
yeah.
a pre-sale. We're going to have you sign, you know, 20,000 copies in Toronto that we're going to send out to special publishers. We're going to have the big stand up like at the stores. And so, but also it's a brilliant book. So I can see why they put all their guns behind it. So how did that all happen? I think it's more the agent and obviously having strong work. So you have strong work. And my own experience in publishing is like publishers just never, I mean, you know, there were like real small press publishers I could access, but like my window to possibilities for publishers opened up a lot, and the deals started happening the second I got a literary agent. So I think the way to,
how do you, I'm realizing there's so many different types of agents that have different specialties and are looking for different things.
Yeah,
I'm learning
you don't
about,
want a rep, not an illustration
not a
rep.
rep. Okay.
Yeah, because an illustration rep's going to get you gigs with clients, and you have gigs with clients. You don't need that, right?
Yeah.
So that would be like if you want to work with authors and that kind of stuff, right? That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess there's different specialties. There's millions of agents out there, right? Like,
yeah,
I think I just discovered what's it called? Query something. Just learning about the word querying, right? Like you pitch them an idea, and I'm just like, what the heck's a query? And I'm like, and in theory, I know what a manuscript is, but I'm like, I really don't. You know what I mean? I'm learning about like log lines, marketing log line versus industry log line, and how different that is. How do you go about even searching for who would be a good fit for?
So I like in my case, I just lucked out with my agent because like literary agents are really hard to get. So it's kind of like trying to get repped, right? I don't think it'll be hard to get for you. I really don't. But I do think there might be some rejection letters just because that's everyone's scenario.
That's part of it, for sure. Yeah.
The only reason it kind of worked for me, where it was the first one who kind of, it's because like my friend is my friend Alan is like a pretty successful author doing like theology books, right? And and I think it was like you probably know this, Chris. I was like at the end point of remember when I was doing like, you know, quarterly stories, and it was back when it was called quarterly stories. And I was trying to figure out, like, I have this thing, I know it's good. What do I do with it? Right. And I was having a bunch of publishers tell me this is brilliant, but like, we have no idea how to market this. So we're not going to print it, but you find a publisher, right? And it's just that whole like, yes, it's great, but not for us kind of thing. So finally I'm like, okay, I'm going to kickstart and self-publish. And I mentioned that on Twitter, and then my friend retweeted it and said, you know, if an agent isn't representing this writer, they're idiotic. Like, you should read 2 stories. This book needs to come out. And I had a call within a day, just because he's a successful writer. So I owe it to a tweet from a friend why I got an agent. Because I had a phone call with them. Yeah, that's how most things work in the industry,
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say, like, it always tends to be where like you recommend somebody that there's so much talent
Yeah.
out there, but it oftentimes comes down to testimonials. Oh no, vouch for person, like that's
Oh
oftentimes
yeah.
like how it tends to work.
Yeah, it's not that much different than a lot of things. So obviously it's not just going to be about connections. And then this is a hard thing to explain to young artists, right? Like cuz like Chris and I came up in illustration together. So like when we were like if you talk to us in our 20s, like we didn't
Right.
know what networking really was, like
No,
and you
because
almost feel
it
like
on the
it's this
surface it
secret
sounds
club.
fake, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you almost feel like it's this secret club, but what a lot of people don't know is like Chris and I are networked, but it's because I've known Chris for like, I mean, gosh, like 20 years now. So
Right. Yeah.
it's like,
And I'm bad. You know what I'm bad at, and I think like you
yeah,
wouldn't recommend me for a job would be bad. Like, and
no,
same for you. Like I know your capabilities. It's gonna be
mhm,
like glowing when it's like, oh, this is the person you need to. And I feel like I can track back pretty much every career win, whether it's the stuff for Disney or Netflix or
yeah,
whatever. It's like comes down to often. I'm not always gonna tell comics. I feel like it all comes down to like setting up at an artist alley. It's
yeah,
huge. I feel
oh
um
yeah,
yeah, I feel like being out there in that capacity has like I think I can trace that back to every positive thing that's happened career wise. Like if you track back enough, it's like, oh, I miss this person recommend this person,
yeah.
that in school, like because we had a really talented people we graduated with, and we kept up
We
with them because
have,
they
I still feel
yeah,
bonded to that whole graduating. I mean,
yeah.
I'm married to one of the graduating class, but it's like, I still feel very
How much
bonded
organic
to
is it?
that.
For
Yeah,
sure.
my wife and
Yeah,
I are very close to like our whole graduating class from college
yeah.
because everybody in our group was just very, like Ralph is a good example too. He was in our crew, and it's like we've had Ralph on and stuff, and Ralph is just a
Mhm.
really ambitious, but very friendly, very good person, and it's like, but always very serious about getting better as an artist, and it's like
Yeah.
we had this group where the best of us was like I'd say probably Jeremy Spears, right? Who ended up doing I would say just for talent, probably Jeremy, who ended up like right out of college, like working, at like Pixar and like just he,
Right. Oh yeah.
now he's like the one of the key story guys at Disney, and it's like that's
Yeah.
just unbelievable. But again, like all these connections kind of build naturally. So that's just for people watching. Chris knows this, but
Mhm.
if you
Yeah.
guys are listening and you're like, oh well, I want to be in a scenario where I can send out a tweet and get an agent. It's a lot of it's just dumb luck and just having friends that you like and sincerely like you didn't necessarily go to a networking event to meet, right? These are just people you meet naturally that have common interests. Um,
Right.
so like that guy, I know him because I used to play in punk bands with his band. We played gigs back in the day, and then we'd argue theology back when I was an atheist, like.
Yeah.
But he's a sweet guy, like so.
Sure.
We'd have these deep philosophical convos. Anyhow, long story short, so the rep thing, I think there's a significant difference too in pay if if you have an agent, which I still
Mhm.
struggle because, like you, Chris, I was new to this whole thing too, where I had reps before, like illustration reps,
Mhm.
and I found them beneficial at times and not beneficial at times, and but I knew that world, like the illustration world of that. But
Yeah.
what I found is like the deals you get are significantly different with writers reps. And the second I got a writer's rep, even with my sister, right? My sister's script for Not Death But Love, I helped her get
Mhm.
it pitched to WordServe, which is my writing rep, right? Or my writing agent. I need to correct my language on that because it's a
Okay.
writing
Yeah.
agent. Um,
Okay.
but similar thing, like the second they kind of she had a rep or an agent, like suddenly she had a deal for this book, right? And it's like that just doesn't happen. Like with a manuscript, right? With like four
Right.
pages of art, we had four
Unless
pages of art and a script,
right. Because unless
and
you
like
have that sort of
yeah,
pre-built audience, like unless you've proven yourself having done like multiple, I don't know, Kickstarters or have
yeah,
self-published thing that's gone really viral, and then you can show that as a proof of concept. But like without that sort of vetting by, I guess, having an agent, like, yes,
yeah,
I believe in this person, and then presenting it to a publisher as like, this thing has potential for this market, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it works?
So I think it's kind of similar to what I was just talking about with my friend sending the tweet, right? You want to think of the agent as the person who does that with all of the people who make the choices for the key publishers, right? And so they've developed relationships with these publishers. So the publishers will have like a yearly meeting or like a monthly meeting with these people, and they have all their contact info. It's not the email that gets deleted because
because they get
filtering
hundreds, right?
out,
Like,
and they're filtering out the people that they're an agent for to curate it for this editor that they know what they're looking for. So they're like, hey, this is something that would work well with your publisher. So they're helping curate it. Here's the other thing. They also help you develop your pitch packet, right? So you basically, like, they usually have like a format, right, for it, like and it's almost like a PDF format kind of thing, with brief descriptions, and then you're kind of plugging it in and workshopping it with your agent before it even goes out as a pitch to publishers, right? And so they're helping you kind of work it out, like, okay, you know, and you're working out stuff you're going to have to work out with the publisher anyway. Like, when you get pull quotes, who do you know? Right. Because like your publishers might have like one or two big names that they're tight with. Right. But you might happen to know, say, maybe the guy who did the type for the Princess Bride DVD. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking of like friends, you know, who've done brilliant things. Right. And you do have a circle of friends who, some of them, you know, might look good on a pull quote. And so you kind of put together, you kind of make your marketing plan for the book without the publisher in part of that packet. So when you present it, you're presenting the scripts, you're presenting art, right, as a pitch. It's all organized really well. It's got all your pull quotes. You're visualizing it as a book, right? So you're gonna like talk about what's gonna be on the back matter, right? What is the salesperson for the book publisher gonna say? Like, what's the marketing team gonna tell people about this book? That's like, because if they can't sell it, they don't want it, right? So that's kind of what they help you with, which I appreciate, because I'm awful at that. So
it's
having
marketing.
an
it's
advocate,
just like straight marketing.
and then here's the other thing, they help you with negotiating. So like my first publishing deal was not the highest advance, right? But what's great is we use that, and then we use that to negotiate a higher. So my second publishing deal was significantly higher, and then my third was the highest yet, right? So because you're having more and more experience with publishers, and then your agent, right, has more confidence and ability to negotiate higher and higher advances, right? And then if you have a runaway hit in the book thing, then of course. But here's the other thing. Your writing agent, a lot of the times, is also sometimes the writing agencies, the one that represents me, does have a wing that represents pitching to film as well.
Okay.
Right. So you can find writing agencies that will help you with the two-prong hit, where you get the publishing deal, right? But you also, once you have the publishing deal, right, you still, depending on what your contract that you negotiate with your agent and your publisher, right? Then you kind of carve out that for like film, because film is going to be the big payoff, especially with comics. Kidlit, though, Kidlit, now we're talking about potential returns that can be almost film already, right? So you can get film advance kind of money doing Kidlit. Like, for instance, the Fan Brothers, they do 1 or 2 books a year, and that's their life. Like, and it covers both of them, like 2 people, 2 adults, right? Because their advances are, I think, I can't remember. I know they shared one on the show, but I think even their first book was in the like 50K realm, which is unheard of. But they have one of the top tier agents, so that makes sense, right? So,
but before that, you have to have done something. You have to have some like product.
Oh, and the
that
Fan Brothers
they-
were like everywhere online because of their success with Threadless. Like they were the kings of Threadless. Like I had a mild bit of notoriety. So did you, Chris? Like from your
No,
Threadless
I only had
win.
one, but I mean,
But even from that
I mean,
one
you
in
had
that era, it was everywhere online. Like that
it was a good
back
era.
in the
It was,
day.
it did, yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely meant
if you had
something
that
to get
win,
that
it was like 200,000 website hits would be up for like a year, you know, with that
Right.
one
That one
image.
did-
People would
that
make
one did get
cakes
around.
of it.
You
What
know,
was your
Yeah,
design,
like,
Chris?
Mine was, it was a moon. I drew it at Josh's house. It was really funny.
Yeah.
It was, I think I left it in your scan. You know, forget it. But it
I
was
wish you had
the
left it
moon.
forever. And
Yeah, I don't know where it is anymore. But it was like a moon that was hollowed out. There's like an Arabian city inside of it.
I
So it was
think,
just called
yeah, I
Arabian
think I remember that. Yeah.
it was cool. It
So,
was like a
yeah.
crescent. I think it was Arabian
Yeah.
crescent or something.
Arabian,
Um,
yeah. So like, but that got all over online. People got tattoos of it. I've
Yeah.
seen like 3 or 4 people get tattoos. Somebody made it into
So
a
just
cake.
think,
Yeah.
so just think like the one you had, right? That was like a big internet thing for a little bit
Right.
back in that day. But imagine if you were like the top artist on Threadless at that time for like 3 years
we
straight.
knew the superstars. You recognize them because they were the alumni, and you see how many wins they had on there.
Yeah, and I
on
wasn't
the
I wasn't even close to those guys, and I had a lot of wins there, but it's like I wasn't even
Right,
close
yeah.
to like the level of internet fame these guys had because they just made beautiful work, right? And so everybody loved it. So they had a whole fan base. So it's kind of an easy sell for an agent to be like, hey, just Google them, you know, like,
Right.
and people are like, oh yeah, like we'll make a kid's
Yeah.
book, right?
By the way, I did see Threadless at Licensing Expo, which was the one person.
cool.
It was like going to a party and like, hey, I know Jake. That's the CEO. I know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank goodness, Threadless is here. And I'm like, congratulations to you guys. You guys are in like Target and like in retail. You like
yeah.
so many more things than just shirts. They've definitely expanded, and like at
Did-
least that was nice to
Yeah.
see a familiar face.
Chris, did you briefly work for one of the shirt companies?
Yes, you did.
That was a different one. That was
Yeah,
T-Fury.
yeah.
That
That's
was a
right.
different
Because
one.
when I
But
was,
yeah.
because I
Also,
remember,
yeah.
I think you were like art directing or something when I started getting into.
The
I got in
creative,
too
yeah.
late, but I had a few shirts on like T Fury.
There was
Yeah.
a time when that was, you could live off. I mean, Josh, you remember? You were
Yeah.
right. It's like writing.
I made a living for 5
stinking
years
blade.
on it. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy how like you could like the numbers have completely changed now. The
Oh, yeah.
technology's changed.
I still get some
DTG's
royalties,
changed.
but I got one shirt that's still a lot of them because they were based on existing IPs got
Yeah.
taken down
Right.
because after a while they started
Yeah.
tracking down. But I've still got
Sure,
one.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
an Admiral Akbar. It says it's like an advertisement for like a mousetrap, and it's like Admiral Akbar, and it's
Oh,
like
it's a trap.
you know how the Victor mousetraps have the V, it's turned upside down, it's got an A, it says Akbar, and it
Okay.
says works
remember
on
that one.
Womp Rats and mouse
That's so good.
droids and all kinds of stuff. But that one I still I get like maybe like $30 a month or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Threadless thing was like huge for a while. So I would be getting residuals up until about maybe like 2 years ago, you know, that were like a couple $100 a month for like 2-3 years, up till 2-3
Nice
years
passive
ago.
income.
Before
Yeah.
that, it used to be like 800 a month just from residuals of ones that were won, right? And then you'd have
Right.
the
And
cycle of the different. You knew my whole scheme at the time. Like I
It
had
was
a
good.
whole.
It was a good system.
Yeah,
I mean,
I cracked the code for a
yeah.
little bit. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyhow, I didn't want to get in a long thing about Threadless. I was just saying, like, so for the Fan Brothers, like the thing that unlocked for me just talking with them, and I think it might have been from having them on here, was like the difference in what's possible when you have an agent. Because even at the level of like fame they were at online, if they had just manually tried to go with a publisher, they would have ended up with a worse deal, with less distribution, with with potentially, and they attribute most of their success to their agent because their agent knew all the people, and
Right.
so agents are huge. I think personally, like that's where I would target my guns if you want to get into kidlit, because otherwise you're talking about kind of more indie kidlit publishers, and that's where the sales numbers sometimes get worse than comics, right? Because there's a billion indie kids book publishers.
Because we know this. Every single human being has like, I think I could do kidlit. It's just a children's book. Must be
Yeah.
easy, right? And I think like everybody has an idea, and every person like, oh, you draw? I have a kid idea. But like, I think because of that, it's so saturated with competition, and I think like trying to make sure you're in front of the right eye with the best potential for success makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
in a really competitive environment, right?
And Maya was doing kids books as an illustrator for years, and she's like wanting to kind of switch to what I'm doing. So she's going to start like when I'm done with the credential program, she's going to get a credential because she loves kids. That's half of, and she started realizing that she'd actually rather just teach kids than like do like, you know, 24 pages of beautiful art for mostly like people who are self-publishing and you know, like again, like drawing stuff that she's not passionate about. Even though she cares about, like, anybody who's met Maya's the sweetest person in the world. She'll put 120% on a project.
Stuff,
she's helped me out with projects before.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
But she's just gotten to the point where if she's going to do kids books, I think she too would probably end up developing a pitch, you know, for getting an agent, and then go that route where you have the whole IP like you're talking about. Because that's the key, Chris, is like with Kidlit, if you own the IP, like that's great because you can make the deal here for the kids book, right? If that publisher makes an IP deal with you, you're going to have an agent who helps you work that out so that you're not getting screwed. Oh, that's another thing that I love. Like my agent has a lawyer.
Like that's a really
site. So they're reviewing my their lawyer is reviewing
big part.
Yes. Their lawyer is reviewing my contract, right? To make sure that I'm getting the best deal because they're getting I think it's under 5%, right? But they're getting a chunk of what I make. So they want me to get the best deal in the world because that's how they're going to make their investment back, right? Because they're not getting paid for any of this, right?
Not for any work I've ever done, you know, like, I mean, I work for an agency right now. Foundry is an agent that is connected with Disney and Paramount and all those things. And I wouldn't have the opportunity to get to work on these projects unless I had their vetting, right? Like, you have to be a superstar illustrator or designer for them to come directly to you. You have to have some notoriety and style recognition. But it makes sense to kind of like connect with these people that are the right fit for you, and they help open the doors that can, you know.
So that's the tough part, is getting an agent is kind of like getting a publisher. So you have to pitch to agents. Like, so weirdly enough, like Pawsmonauts, make your pitch, write your script, like vet your script, send it to friends just as if you were going to kickstart it or something. Right.
I need to get your opinion on it.
Get it. You know, like, spell checked everything, get a log line for it, like simplify it. What's the back matter for the book? The closer you can have it to the pitch you develop with an agent, that's how you kind of get an agent. So then you're going to send that out to, you know, endless agents. I don't know. I'll look into mine if because they're really good in the field I've got with them. But I'm not sure. I'll look into it. I'll look into it. And then if it would be a good fit for Kidlit, the kind of Kidlit you're thinking about, good. But if it's not, I'm not going to, you know, recommend you go to them because like it may not serve you well. So I'll look into that. It's always like
myself. A marriage, right?
Yeah. But what you want to do is kind of a similar thing to, do you remember back in the day when we were starting illustration, if you were going to do an illustration rep, right? How do you find the good ones? Do you remember? Like, or did you ever go the rep route?
I never did a rep for illustration. I applied directly to companies for, I don't know, like I feel like we tried everything. You know, like
we really
every
did.
Sort of method of
we were hungry
trying to get in. We were absolutely. Because I went the storyboard route, right? And I literally like made little tear-off tickets and posted my stuff at student film, like at USC, and it worked. I got some student films. It didn't pay well, but I just needed to do work, right? And then I would lurk on, you know, IMDb, what do you call it, the little message boards, and say like, I'm a storyboard. Does anybody need it? And that. I think I can track back all my commercial stuff to like one guy that recommended to an actual gig. But rep, I think I did. But right now I'm looking at illustrators that I feel like is in the same vein and trying to see who
Yes.
they're rep by, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
reverse engineering, like, well, if they like this guy's stuff or this gal's stuff, my stuff
Yeah.
is similar but different, hopefully, you know. And then like
Yes.
they understand the market better than somebody who's like all horror fiction, you know, like, because I don't do horror. I'm not a,
Yeah.
you know, like, I'm a scaredy cat, but they're specialists, I'm realizing.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
So
yeah.
that's exactly it. You're gonna look at, like, just like you would with an illustration rep, right? Illustration reps, right? The easiest way to find good illustration reps is start with the illustrators that are repped, that are getting good gigs, and look
Right.
at who's repping them.
Yeah.
And like, the cool thing is, once you open the window for writers reps, right? I you know, there's like a rock star writers rep that I think is Craig Thompson's rep. I think that's the first one I reached out to. And they were just, I was not ready to reach out to a rep at that point. I think I got a phone call, which is insane, because he's one of the top reps in that industry. But then that fell apart very quickly because I didn't know what I was doing. Like,
but the fact that you even got a response back is amazing. You know what I mean? Getting a response, like, there's authors who just get no response from anything, and just even get a, even if it's a no at the end, the fact that they're giving you the time of day, because you know that that's all they get is pitches of like, I am so and so, I have this thing. So
well, and that's the frustrating part of anytime you're on the outside of any of these things and you're trying to get in. And this isn't for you, Chris, because you know this, because we've cut our teeth doing this our whole careers, right? But anytime you're on the outside and you're trying to kind of push your way in, it feels really frustrating. And then it flips very quickly once you've cracked the code, because now I'm in a weird position where I have a bunch of options, like, of books I could do, and I know I'll probably have a deal for them. And now it's just a time thing. And like, that's this. Yeah. And I was thinking about that the other day, because one of my previous editors reached out to me and was like, I want us to work on a graphic novel together. And it's my favorite editor I've ever worked with. And I'm like, I was like, actually, the timing might work out. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, do I want to do that? Because then I can't do 2 stories book 2. So it's like, it's just a matter of like picking what I want to do, which is cool. But the thing that cracked it, like, I had reached out to agents, I didn't know how any of it worked, was just that tweet, right? But it's like anything else where you reverse engineer, you hunt, you try to kind of get in. And also, don't only, like, kind of like illustration reps, sometimes you might find an agency. The key thing is, do they have the connection with the publishers, and do they know how to pitch your work? That's it. Because if they represent Sendak, right, there's a chance that they're going to get you Sendak connections, but they're all, well, although Sendak's passed. So, but I'm just trying to think the biggest Dogman, Pilkey. Okay, if they're Pilkey's rep, right, they might be so big. You might need an entire agency to handle Pilkey's stuff right now, right? The guy's getting so many deals he can buy an island. So that might take that full literary agency, right? And the other stuff might be kind of these side project pitches.
Yeah,
and so,
that's what I'm reading on. Yeah, like the fact that, like, if they have a superstar, they might put other resources toward that superstar, even if you're right. It's like there's only so much marketing budget, and which one are they going to promote more? This thing that's pretty much a guaranteed hit if they market it enough, or how much money are they going to give toward a newcomer who's never, you know, made a big. It could be big if they put the amount of spend behind it, but that's another worry of, like, if it's maybe if it's too big and like too well known for representing one specific author / illustrator. Like, I think that can all be, you know, you have to kind of weigh the cost and benefits of that, right?
Yeah, and so it's like, it's kind of a thing of to weigh out those balances. But the key thing is also, people who are repped by good reps, like, they love their reps. Like, I love my rep. Like, you know, Keely she's changed my life in the sense of, like, believing in a project that was just, I had no runway to go with. And she's developed it with me, and also given me really sage advice. Because
was this Jacob's apartment?
Yeah, she got Jacob's apartment, that deal.
And I noticed the little changes in there, and they were good notes. You know what I mean? Like, because I remember.
No. Those were Kendra. Those were my editor.
Different.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
One of the best editors though. That was
Okay.
an
Well, that's also
editorial choice. That was Graphic Mundi, which is a great
interesting.
publisher.
Okay.
No, that was Kendra, my editor. But Keely helped me develop it. But no, I just pitched that finished. But
I didn't know
Keely
that. Okay.
helped. Yeah, Keely's helped me develop scripts. She's helped me connect with other people they represent who are pretty well known. And so if I ever have time, that's an option for me to work with like best-selling authors, which is cool.
Right.
But I feel a connection to Keely, not only that, because you have like a soldier fighting for you. And it's
behind the scenes, you have a little bit of support group, like somebody that's on, like even when you're doing something else, they're kind of behind.
And also they're a mediator. So if you look at your contract and you're like, I don't know about this, and you talk to your agent, right? They know the vocabulary to change, to finagle that change into the contract without you having to even have that uncomfortable conversation.
Right.
That
was
Isn't
really
that beautiful?
Nice.
You tell your agent, I don't know about this. How do you feel about that? And then you talk about it, you think about it, and then you go, yeah, I would kind of to see if that could change. Could we see that? Yeah. And then before you know it, they're like, yeah, I talked to them. It's changed. Here's the revised contract. It's beautiful.
They would have the most knowledge knowing what is industry standard, what is acceptable and what's not, right? I think that's the type of stuff that artists, we at Hose all the time, where you kind of sign something and you lose so much of your equity in something, even if you created it, and I met Paul Frank, the guy who made Paul Frank.
Paul Frank
at the time, I don't know if it's changed out, he didn't own his name anymore because of some contractual thing. He lost the right to use his name as his own thing, and he created Park La Fun, which is an anagram, right? But he's such the nicest guy and super cool, and he was workshops on how to make your own leather craft he's just this artist dude that got taken advantage of people who knew how to finagle contracts where he lost the right to use his own name to make product. I'm like, that sucks. And
it gets bad, man. I mean, think about it. The most famous guitar in the world is the Fender, right? Guess who didn't have the right to Fender because he retired? Leo Fender. And then when he was like, oh, I want to get back into making guitars, and they're like, we're not going to hire you. He had to start GNL, right?
Oh my God.
Which was George and Leo, because he couldn't legally call it Fender anymore. He couldn't use his last name. It was a brand. It's wild. So if you have a good literary agent, they're going to be your advocate. They're going to help you pitch it. And it's been the best thing for me, because also every book I've had, even if it was a small publisher, every one of the top 5 read it and got back to me. Got back to me they didn't know a window for it, but they loved it, right? So it's you don't even get a letter back most of the time with with those big guys. And then Yehudi is a good example too. We've had Yehudi on, and Yehudi has a really good agent, and he said his agent set it up for him where, when he was pitching, what was it, Scott, that he was talking about here? Was it Chunky, yeah. Because he had some success with the with his other kids book through Top Shelf, right, or Ani, his kids property, and then of course Yehudi has some connections in animation and stuff, but again, he's big at DreamWorks, right? But then DreamWorks is different than Kids Book World, and so that wasn't enough. But his agent, and then his own art, obviously, right? Those two combined have put Yehudi in a position where when he had a pitch for a new graphic novel, he had a one-on-one meeting with the top 5, the representatives, and they were bidding at a table for his work, right?
Wow.
And his agent's sitting there advising him like a lawyer, well, you might want to,
so it's like a live Shark Tank, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then Richard Fairgray, who we've had on too, has had some pretty big success with graphic novels, right? He has a good literary agent, right? So I'm the second it opened up for me, seeing the difference in just how quickly they respond to pitches,
Yeah.
And also how they help you format it, because they're like, yeah, we don't really want to go for this publisher. They wouldn't know what to do with this. Let's go for these
Right.
guys.
Which
And
makes sense. Yeah,
like, yeah, so they're gonna help you kind of target it and stuff. So a lot of it sucks, but a lot of it's like hone down the hunt, like what you were saying. Look for, artists that talk to writers that who have agents. Ask them, like I always recommended this. But when you were back in BIPT days, when I had an illustration rep that I liked, one of the key things before I signed on with that rep was to talk to other people repped by them.
makes
Right.
sense. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And you don't want to kind of like be a jerk about it or anything, but it's like, hey, I'm thinking about approaching these people. Is it worth it? Like, what's your experience? Right. Because if somebody doesn't like the writer's rep, they'll tell you. Like,
right. Yeah. It's
they'll
for their
be
own
like,
benefit.
yeah, it's been
Right.
yeah, they'll be like, it's been good for me, but they don't have time, or whatever it is. And then each has their own niche, right? Like, WordServe is a lot of Christian literature too. And so they did help me kind of fuse that weird conundrum that Two Stories was in, where it was like about belief, but it also had like F words and like, and it's not, and the market for it is not the market for it's not a Christian bookstore, right? And so it was in this weird little limbo space, which is partially why it has such a small publisher. It's kind of cool. Marcosio was even down to put it out because it's a weird market, but then Two Stories is a broader market, but still like it kind of fits under the WordServe kind of vibe. But do you get what I'm saying? It's like it depends on the public. I don't know if that answers any of your stuff, but I am so long-winded.
Like it totally makes sense because I have I have this the Pawsmonauts, but also the Sun the Circus stuff that might do more.
That's in your back pocket. So you pitch your main one, you get your agent, and then you have that in your back pocket. So when you get that first deal and you get all those queries back, that's how Jacob's Apartment happened, because Graphic Mundi was one of the publishers that got back and was like, hey, like I really love this work for Two Stories, but they were like, we don't have time right now. And then they reached out again and said, hey, does he have anything else to pitch? And I'm like, yes, I happen to. And then Two Stories came from that, or not Two Stories.
What happened?
Not Death But Love came from that, right? Because the publisher Turner, which ate the publisher that they didn't eat them, but they fused with the publisher that signed us. But the original publisher of it was a rejection of Jacob's Apartment. But they were like, but we do like historical stuff. Does he have any historical stuff? And I was like, my sister has a historical script.
Yeah, nice.
And so they opened those doors, and you already have two properties. So like once you kind of get the wedge in there, it's like you can kind of develop pitch packets and have multiple pitches floating out there. And all you have to worry about is getting that one to your agent, and they handle the rest. Like they'll do the back and forth,
How long was your pitch packet? Like, what was it, a PDF? Was it like
it's a PDF, yeah. It's literally like it depends. Like in the case of Jacob's Apartment, I think it was like a sample of pages, and then I had a link to part of my website that had the full thing. And then it also has the pitch. There's like a whole format for it. Like it has log lines, like or not log lines, but like pull quotes. Potential people you can reach out to, your connections online, your following online. They always want to see your following online. That's a huge thing. But it's mainly just like you're kind of pitching it like you would to a publisher, but to you're just developing it for one agent, and that's it.
Right. And did you use a query tracker? Have you heard of this one? It's like it was a direct email. Was that the format that you would
contact the agent?
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was trying to originally I thought about a writer's agent. That was like before any of those things existed. So I had just kind of given up on the process till my friend sent that tweet.
Yeah.
But I would imagine like there's probably a more kind of succinct way. So if Query Tracker gets queries out there for agents, that would be a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I would
usually
imagine.
formatted where you fill out boxes where it says like, here's the what do you call it, the genre, and your target market age range and that sort of stuff. And then there's a little bit where it depends on the agent, but the agent will tell you what they're interested in and what they don't at all, right?
Yes.
Which is helpful, I think, because like there's so many people that have different tastes. So this whole thing started because I randomly ran across this thing on Instagram where somebody was like, it's like some pitch event, an online event. And I texted Mai about this. It's called
Yeah, we
Kidlit.
really wanted to go, but like both of us were just swamped.
Well, it's not in-person thing. It was just all online, and it's only open once a year, and it was like right now, and it just closed recently. But I made a single image thing for both Pawsmonauts and Sound the Circus. And nicely enough, they actually have a couple responses for each of these from like potential people wanting to hear more, which is, I'm like, well, how do I know if this is the right person? This is why I was like asking, like, and they're like, please query me with more information, which is a nice sign, because I've never like pitched this out to our broad public besides
that is a good sign.
Yeah. But yeah, this was just a single image. But apparently they keep it open just for, and I never even heard of this website, but this is where I'm like learning about the whole sphere of like people pitching these kids books ideas and trying to understand like the market and trying to like where that would fit and stuff. But,
and like that's the thing that feels when you're not you, but like when you're a young illustrator, that's the thing that makes it feel like some weird kind of like good old boys club, and you kind of want in and no one will let you in.
Sure.
I think that is kind of what's going on with a lot of the literary agents, but if you think about it, it's just kind of makes sense because editors have like a limited time. When I was art directing, I had a couple contacts that were illustration reps, and if I was in a pinch, I knew I could trust them to filter me somebody who'd get something done. The few times I had to like outsource, right? So it's like it makes sense that there would be editors who have go-to literary agents. It just makes sense because it's like, would you rather deal with like 5 literary agents or 500 query emails from artists every month?
Right.
Or 5,000 paragraphs written by your great aunt who thinks that they wrote a brilliant thing about their dog. Or their my kid did this cool thing when he lost his tooth. That should be a kid's book, right? There's a million people who want to do their great kids book idea. So I would imagine that's probably what the literary agent's good for. So that's good. If you got responses back, I'm sure those agencies have their own sites, right? Have you looked at their sites?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and I've kind of done a little bit of cursory, like online people's responses. What do they feel about this agency? Just to get a feel of like, is it worth even pursuing? Like, because again, it has to be the right fit part. Where like, do I want to be? You don't want to be so desperate to be represented by anybody, because you're basically like trusting your work, which you've put in all this, sweat and tears into, and to like have that other person take it to other people, and will they understand what you're going for? Because
that was a huge one for me. Like with my literary agent, they just asked me to send them the work, right? That's the first thing. And then I got a call like a week later, and my literary agent was literally like choking up, like from 2 stories. Like she had cried from reading it.
Good. I mean, that means and that's like it's a perfect, the fact that you're going for is an emotional connection.
And she was like even honest about it. Like, I don't know if we'll get somebody for this, but it's such a good piece of art. We need to make it happen. And like, she talked about different windows, but also understood the story, understood the market. And like, so that for me was like, okay, this is the person, and I had seen they represented some like legitimate people. And also they didn't represent a lot of graphic novels, but that's another luck of the draw thing, because that was like right at that point where every literary agency is like, there's a window here. I have all these publishers, especially in Kidlit, right? Publishers see Dogman, right? They see Raina Telgemeier. They see these like best-selling books. They want in on that, you know?
Right.
They want their book near that manga section that's drawing
For
all
sure.
the attention of children.
It goes and grows at Barnes and Noble. That manga section it's you know, like,
Yeah.
really, it's blown my mind. We're like, wow, kid, this is huge, and it's just like the mainstream now. It's not a niche
I'd say
type
like half of my high school classes, every single period I teach, half of them read manga, you know, like each period. And most of them don't read, but they read manga. And
yeah.
Prior to that, they read Dogman, right? They read Cat Kid Comic Club. They read everything Dave Pilkey ever wrote, right? And it's like a lot of them have read Telgemeier and like a bunch of different, probably Yehudi now, you know, I'd imagine Chunky's like might be in one of those. So that's the thing. There's a market. And like you're talking about the only comic sections that are growing in the bookstore, in my opinion, unfortunately, but still, it's cool to see comics growing anywhere. Because I want to see it grow in the literary area too. But the kids section, man, there's a whole giant shelf there, right? Manga section, giant shelf. Artsy graphic novels, they have, you know, one of Daniel Klaus's books that's left in stock, you know, and then all Marvel, like so it's like
stuff that's been turned into movies.
And you have the kind of tattered backed like Fantagraphics one in the corner. But you get what I'm getting at, like and you already know this, but this is just mainly just a fun convo. But it's like I think it's a good I will attest to the fact that it was a game changer for me. And it has given me new vigor in comics, because I know like now it's not really a matter of worried about it getting out there. Now, will it sell? It's books, so probably not.
I expect it. I mean, we're very used to, you know, like marketing myself, you know, through conventions and stuff. And if something were to come out, I'm gonna go use every trick I know to send out every show and every interview.
You work a con so well, I don't think that would be a bad method, because like worst case scenario, you'll end up with a book you can push. Best case scenario, it's one of those books that takes, and then you're talking about pretty good profits and potentially like film deals and stuff like that, and you can be working those on the side. Do check your agents that like were interested. Do they have, like, you could even talk to them and like if they're interested in you, like have a phone call and find out, do you have a film department? Like, can you guys handle that? You know, if I wanted to pitch scripts like related to this property, can you kind of make that happen? Because that is one nice thing about my rep too. Like if I ever have the time, I could develop a script and like probably see, hey, can we pitch this out? Because we got a whole wing that goes to Hollywood every week, you know? And they're in Denver, but
I think that's the avenue that I, you know, like I'm a little bit more familiar with. Is
you're more close to it,
because that's, you know, like,
and that's the avenue I'm not, you know,
This is where I have, you know, like the different character bios and stuff, and then like potential things that could become something like an animated show, like when I'm having a multiple prong ID. So I'm like, I don't want to spread myself so thin, but I am interested in like being able to create a viable product with like, well, the thing that could be a complete thing, because like, you know, pitching a show requires so much more, you know, like so many more teams, whereas like I could write and illustrate this thing myself, right? Like I don't need to don't know how to animate, you know, voiceover, you know, like I'd have to learn how to be a producer and all those things. But this is something that I feel like I can confidently make, and that's like why I got interested in packaging.
Well, and also I don't want to get corny too, but I would imagine having a kid makes you kind of respect kids' books a lot. Like, I mean,
that's exactly why I'm surrounded by kids' books. It's exactly why I'm surrounded. I mean, do you know how many kids shows I have to watch right now? And I'm like, I can recognize quality in whatever I watch, and I'm like, if I'm gonna put something out, I'd rather it be like a PBS type thing with educational aspect, not just.
When my son was young, like things like, you know, Luna of the Moon or whatever, like that was great because it was like the animation's great. It's the guy who did Rocko's Modern Life, right? And I couldn't even figure it out. I was like watching it with Ben, and I was like, this is so well done, but there's something about the mouth movements that looks really familiar. And then I was like, is it Rocko's Modern Life? Because it's the talking, the way he does the mouth acting
The
is
lips,
so unique.
the lips, and
Yeah.
the exaggerated, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of go
tells of
whoop,
it.
like yeah. But yeah, it's things like that, or like Bread Barbershop. I'm like, I love Bread Barbershop. Let's do it. But it's like then you see other like trash kids shows, and you really feel like, okay, I should do this because like if they can get this, my my kid would be into like the thing I'm doing. Yeah, so there's that too, and you see the market right there. Your kid, like when they love a kid's book, they want it read over and over.
Right. Yeah.
And you could be that thing for them, and that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I've done a lot of direct to market testing to see it, and she knows like the names of the Pawsmonauts now, right? Like it's Katya. Like I'll show her which is a good sign, right? Who's this? Like it's Katya. It's like this is the cat, right? And then
wait, show that.
Yeah.
Show that.
It's a skull one. Right now, my friend Jeremy is doing a 3D model rendering of it. So I have some, what do you call, test prints done. Yeah,
I just think as a toy that's appealing because like when I was a kid, the idea of like a see-through helmet was just cool. Yeah,
right?
just that part alone, just as a toy.
Right.
Yeah. That would have been really cool. Like just that part of it would make me interested in it just alone because it's like, oh, they have an actual space helmet,
Right.
Yeah.
I got a lot of ideas unpacking into this because also I have a little experiences, toys. Right? I used to work at Pawsmonauts and running this by like my old coworker who's huge Funko now, like, and getting the time of day from him is like amazing because like it's having that connection is super important, and I'm lucky to have like friends who are able to like give me some feedback. And right now I'm like just kind of seeing what is appealing and what potential there is.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think there would be a lot. I think, but maybe put some guns into the agent thing because the cool thing is all you'd have to do is one pitch, and then they're in the background floating that around. Right. You're getting emails forwarded to you. So if you get rejections, they'll send them to you, and if you get interest, they'll send them to you. And also, when they do that, let's say they're interested and they're like, it's cool, but we're not really into animals and space. We do kind of more, this kind of thing. And you're like, oh, that kind of thing kind of sounds like Sunless Circus.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I have the science.
You get that floating around.
Science and magic side, right? I have one that's a science thing, and the other one's a magic thing. So it's like I have different things, but they're both things that I'm interested in. Yeah. And there's also a ton of other reasons like people say no, reject stuff too. They could also have a property that's already too similar in development, or had a recent failure with the same name or something. Like,
well, I used to think it was a bad thing.
Mars, right? And like
they didn't want to use what?
The word Mars.
Oh yeah, because
everything with the word Mars, they're like, oh, it's failure, and so John Carter turned into John Carter of Mars. No, just like so now we don't know that it's even just sounds.
Which honestly, that movie would have done better if they had kept From Mars.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's so much more pulp and fun.
It is, but stuff like that happens, right? Where you're like things outside of not even related to the quality of the work, but just as a fitting timing or like all those things that so I'm
with the Brownings book like there's a whole bunch of that involved. Like our first publisher for it was a person who publishes Elizabeth Barrett Browning's poetry. So it's like they were like it's a no-brainer for us, right? Like we have a market. And then the publisher that acquired them for their classics collection. So it's like, again, it's a no-brainer to kind of retain that contract and build the book. And they're passionate about it because they love literature. So if I went to Turner with like Jacob's Apartment, I don't think they do a lot of slice of life books. So that would have been a rejection right there, and I'm working with them and they love the stuff we're doing for them. So it is funny. Because anytime we're having this kind of conversation, I always imagine you and me, Chris, when we're 20, being like, "Oh, come on," but it's like, but it is like that where it's like, if they took the time to write you a rejection note, like, do you know how busy these people are? Like they cared about it. Now, if it looks like a cut and paste rejection letter, then maybe maybe it wasn't
You
such
can
a
tell, you can
such a
tell
hit.
which ones are the formulas. Yeah.
Yeah, but I always keep in mind that you know the Spiegelman one, right, Chris? The rejection letter in MetaMouse. You got
I
to
didn't
buy
know
that book
that.
just for the rejection section. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
MetaMouse is like the book about the making of mouse, and there's a whole chapter
fun.
that's just reprinted rejection letters, and it's like all the top 5 publishers. And the funniest one is this place that was like, we publish serious books, not cute
Serious,
stories
yeah.
about cats and mice.
Did you read the? Oh my god! Yeah, yeah.
That's like,
that's an indicator. Like maybe if they didn't take the time to read it. Maybe it's
yeah.
not. Yeah, it's not a
So
fit.
that just
Yeah.
made me think of like a young Art Spiegelman, living in this like bad apartment, throwing together like and hand stapling copies of Raw, right, with his wife, who's now the editor for the New Yorker, right? And they're both like
Amazing, yeah.
young little indie artists, and he's got this brilliant thing. He's publishing it in this little periodical they're putting out, and yet like no publisher will show it the light of day, and it's like the most important work done in one of the most important things done in comics. So it's like, if that got a bad rejection letter, my silly book about like a lost romance, like, like I can handle a rejection letter.
It gives you some like perspective for sure. And I think it's always I mean, at this age, I know how to roll with rejection. I don't think that's like part of why we're still in the game. I think you would have, if we took it too personally with every no, I don't think we'd be able to make a career out of making anything.
Oh, and every twist and turn in the industry, like you're gonna have like friends who, I mean, like you'll see it with friends. You'll have friends who are up for like Eisners, and they'll be out of a job like in a week. It's just a weird industry we chose, and so you gotta kind of roll with the punches, be adaptable, because the cool thing is we get to participate in this cool thing where we make stuff.
This is the dream, right? Yeah, I think this is the very fact that we can get to try is something to be.
And the fact that I get to have a conversation with you and see like, whoa, that was a cool toy. Like I've never seen that toy before, and my friend made it. That's amazing.
Too. I have so much development art on the secret section on the website where I'll just send you the code, but like I have all the development things and all the sketches. And there's a lot of concepts in there that tied into stuff that I've implemented in the experiential design for like Netflix and the other Disney stuff. But
you're like the perfect, you're kind of the perfect machine to do this. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but all of your expertise, I think you get that agent in the mix, and you're gonna, and the cool thing is that's also good for a publisher, because publishers are all stretched thin. They're all insane. To be in book publishing is insanity. Like that is like comic book publishing is even more insane, but to be in book publishing and be putting out books that 90% of them will not make back the advance you just paid this person, right? To be doing that risk thing like is insane. So they all, like most book publishers, love books. Like they're looking to make that. They want your book to be that book as much as you do, but they don't have the resources. So the idea, Chris, that even if you have a publisher, that you'd be able to offer that to the publisher too is huge, because that's going to help their book move, which they want, So it sounds like a big win-win, Fun times.
It's a brand new world. You have to have a little bit of optimism, because if you didn't, you wouldn't even finish the thing. You know what I mean? So this is just different for me, because I'm so used to, I mean, it's been years since I've actually published issue, but like comics and stuff you can complete, and then this is something that you kind of might need. I mean, I could just complete the whole book too. I mean, I think I want to see how far I can get with like developing it as a manuscript, and kind of like having people like caretake, and if it's in the hand, help develop it, because I've got a lot of irons in the fire with regular work too.
No, and I think the key thing you'd want to hone down, because you got the art thing covered, dude. You're gonna be able to do the art stuff easy. So just get that script like perfected and get it moving out there for agents, and then get them moving it for you while you're at work, right? and while you're developing the pitch for the movie and the style and all of that, right? And sample pages. You got to make sample kids book pages. Which have you done that yet? Like a spread?
Not yet. I have just the character bios and stuff.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I realized that aside the the work for self-published authors that I did, back when we were like 20 something. Besides that, I realized like I haven't done any kids book. I have, and it's the Not for Children children's book for Deadpool 2.
Oh yeah,
and it's
I love that one. It came with the
inappropriate.
DVD, right?
It did. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
with the Blu-ray special package. The Clio award-winning packaging. But,
I love it.
Yeah, I can't. That one is very different in style and look. I would have to. I think I would just have to make a couple pages just to.
Yeah.
Just to get an idea of this is legit.
Am I
kid-friendly.
crazy?
It's not-
Okay. I'm remembering this one. Was that like a little golden book looking one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it had like even the little golden book binding. That's so brilliant. Yeah.
It had like everything was parody. It had the little.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very fun project to be a part of. I actually got to watercolor that. And got to know what happened in the movie. It was very fun to be behind the scenes and like they're actually gonna make like at every point I thought they were gonna like cancel that project.
Yeah.
It was such a wacky.
It always feels like that, doesn't it? Where you're just like, is this actually like, yeah.
Are you sure you're doing
I
it?
still,
yeah, but
even the book I'm working on right now, the reality of this being a book, like I have like 50 pages left, so I'm not like it's just this
so
abstract idea.
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah.
It's exciting though, man. It's so cool to see all the progress. You've just been chipping away at it diligently for so long.
Well, this is one of those things too, though, Chris. It's like it's cool to see this thing you're baking in the background, or in the foreground. But you get what I'm saying. It's kind of neat to see the components coming together, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun when we have you back and you have like a huge book that everyone's buying.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna keep hitting the pavement. I think I might. I'm gonna look into more licensing expo stuff too, just to be present in that sphere. Because I feel like there's a lot of potential, and it had, I think decent reaction with the people I was talking to here. So, but yeah, it's exciting but also it's a difficult thing. But it's nice to have this group that keeps you motivated because we all have something that we're working on. And I think that's something that every young and old experience. And I think having that sense of creative community is always really nice.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice to have things to bounce things off people. Chris, my stupid joke about I don't know. It was like a night. These nights because we used to have these together all the time in Long Beach because Chris and I used to illustrate like at like 2 a.m. when we were full-time freelance, right?
It'd be like daylight sometimes. It'd be like more. I'm like, guess I should go home. It's like, it's exciting. Yeah.
But we'd be making money doing what we're doing. Like a lot of the time, it was like, I have client work. Do you? Yeah, you want to hang out? Sure.
That's awesome.
And we're in our 20s at this point.
It was
not.
It was
now,
definitely its time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was the hunger. That was the hunger, man. That's why we have. That's why we don't have to do it now. But it's like it's the past self we have to high five for being insane. But because that's kind of what you need when you start. Like if I was teaching college right now again and I had young artists, I'd be like, yeah, you got to be hungry or like just you want it. That's the key. You just really have to want it and do like it. Just not having it happen is not acceptable. Like as long as you get there, then you will find a way in. Like but with where we're at now, anyhow, like on a deadline, sometimes you still have to pull a late night, right? And it was like a late night. I'm working on this Victorian thing, and I had this stupid Victorian jet ski thing come into my head because I was doing a page where it said the location and then the date, and it was showing like London, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if it just started zooming in on the water under like the Tower of London, and then you just saw a dude on a jet ski with an Uzi? Did you hear that joke before, Chris?
Well, I heard your pitch with on the one that Gary was on, right? I'm like,
yeah, and then it just says Victorian England, 1858. I was like, because I think I was reading like Ben Mara's stuff. on my breaks. So I was like, what if it was like that kind of thing, but in Victorian times told as like, so anyhow, I love that I have a group of friends that I can write a stupid script every 5 minutes for like 2 weeks, and I send it to them, and they'll entertain it. Like
no, it's always fun to
yeah.
have those. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the fun part about creatives, man. We're weird people. We're gonna make stuff.
Right.
You know, yeah. I don't know. So Pawsmonauts has to happen. We need to see this everywhere. And I have seen it real time at cons. People are drawn to it.
Yeah, I think it's that's why I'm continuing with it. It's like it's people will tend to pause on it, and then it's kind of
they pause on it.
They pause on it. Yeah. I mean, I'm a dad, right? And so all the pun jokes are the active.
I had to jump on it for that reason.
Yeah, you got to pounce on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dressing as a hot dog for Halloween because it's funny and it makes my son crack up. And then he was like, I want to be a cheeseburger. I'm like, all right, we're food. That's what we're doing.
Oh, you need to make it gross food. You need to put some worms and
oh, you know what? Type it back into and just put the wax back.
You know what? That's a great transition, Scott. Why don't we just because it's a perfect transition, we're at like an hour and 30 minutes. Scott, I know we're gonna have you close it, but this is the most important thing I think people can do right now. Where should people go if they want a gross hot dog?
Yeah, go to Kickstarter. I think I've got, let's see, I think one of the packs has the gross hot dog on it. Let's see, a taco. Yeah,
sorry, that was just too perfect.
There's the hot dog one right there. You got a dead mouse on there, some fish bones and entrails. These wax packs are available as part of my Kickstarter campaign for It Came from the Fridge. Each pack comes with 6 stickers, a stick of bubblegum, and a refrigerator magnet, all gross and disgusting, just like the wacky packages and garbage pail kids you may have grown up with. So that's all on Kickstarter. I believe there's a link in the description to that.
Yeah, I would have shown a nice preview, but there's something. Kickstarter apparently does not like you sharing Kickstarters on OBS, so they put like a little pop-up window that I can't click.
Right.
Yes, go there. It's in the description, guys. I'm gonna look at it. I saw this go live a little bit. I wanted to wait till this show to kind of back it, but I'm looking kind of in the territory of I gotta see if I got the budget to do the case, because that's just the Barfarama. And I know why, because that's a lot of effort doing that assembly.
It's weird because it kind of started out. I don't have as many backers, but a lot of people are going with those higher tiers, and it's just because I knew that box is gonna,
it's a lure, man. Yeah. You might have me on that, but I will say at minimum, I'm going to be getting a couple of those cards.
Yeah, you can always start, and when the campaign gets towards the end, if you find that you've got a little extra cash, you can always up your pledge and stuff.
But I gotta say all 4 wax packs, display box, and the stickers, like the display box is so awesome. I want that like on my art table,
Yeah, so, when you get the box, you're guaranteed to get every sticker. The other ones, that's the whole set, everything, plus all the Chase cards, everything.
And then he's got original art on here. Like, just check it out, you guys. It's beautiful. There's original art. There's autographed unfolded wax paper. So if you really like test prints and stuff, like collectible things like that, this is like the unfolded wax paper, which is actually pretty cool too. There's just beautiful stuff. It's put together really well. I'm excited, Scott, because it looks like, did we get to we broke the goal?
Yeah, we hit the goal. We're just above it. Obviously I want to hit that next stretch goal where everyone gets an additional magnet. I got some cool stuff to reveal after that if we hit that one. But it's always when you're right on that line of just backing it, because sometimes people will back out. So it's possible, when you're just barely hit that goal, it's possible that somebody could back out and you could go back down and not get funded. So I still want to definitely encourage people to back the project and keep this thing going. So yeah.
Cool. Okay. Let's go to Chris. Chris, where can people check out the Pawsmonauts and stuff and see what we've been talking about, this universe you're building?
Right. Yeah. There's a whole website with the character bios and, again, the whole map and the links to where you can buy the pins and stickers and stamps and stuff. You'll go to pawsmonauts.com. So it's like Pawsmonauts. I'm like, it's like cosmonauts, but with P-A-W. And then on Instagram, it's Sketchboy01 and Kitten Rivet. And yeah, it's right now, if you want your own global dispatch newspaper, and especially if you live somewhere far away, there's 12 issues that I'm willing to send almost anywhere in the world. Just to, if the deal is, if you get one, you have to take a picture and send it in, and you'll be added to the map, and it's interactive, and you can kind of see like where it's in. So
I
I
gotta
love
go on
it.
there and see and click on that, because I know I sent
yeah,
the picture.
Arizona's in there. Yeah,
Awesome.
that was thank you for doing that, Scott.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Thanks for sending me it. Yeah,
That's awesome. And then it is PAWSMONAUTS.com.
yes.
Okay, I have also added that to the description because I'm a bad host. I didn't have it on there. So all the links down there. If you refresh your window, you guys will see that. But that all the links to Chris's stuff is there. Also, Chris, can people still get Sunless Circus? Are we still selling those?
Yeah, I mean they're on my Etsy.
Yeah.
There's
Pick
4
up
issues
Sunless
right now.
Circus.
Working on the 5th. It's a robot boy. Lives in the circus. He's an acrobat, but his dream is to run away to become an accountant because he wants to crunch numbers for a living. So it's a very old-timey, like a Charlie Chaplin silent film. A little bit of HBO's Carnival meets a Tokyo story. And
I love it.
Stan Lee's liked it. I have a pull quote. And
Yeah.
That's one pull quote that I have ready for my my potential pitch for the future. Yeah,
That's a good pull quote. I don't know if you can get that one anymore. That's pretty amazing.
I know. Yeah,
and we've
frame.
Yeah, Chris got a letter from Stan Lee about his work,
cool.
which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Really nice.
that was a while ago. Well, man, goes back. But yeah, that was cool. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
The fact, like, again, some people have criticisms of Lee, especially in the cartooning world, but the fact that he took the time out to do that as Stan Lee is just unbelievably cool. Like, unbelievably meaningful. What a cool thing. Sweet. Yeah, so check out Chris's work. If you guys aren't familiar, I mean, Chris does amazing stuff. He has made Clio award-winning work and a lot of really cool things you may not know he did, right? Let's say you're visiting theme parks, you might see his art places that you have no idea what he did, but he did a lot. He does a lot of stuff behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. It's amazing work. And if you guys are convention people, you've probably met Chris at a convention. If you haven't, next time, I'm sure you guys are probably doing LA Comic-Con, I would imagine. That kind of stuff.
I like Comic-Con, but WonderCon and Bob Baker Day is our main things these days. And
okay.
if you want a table at LA Comic-Con next year, I'm down. But
we should talk about it because
yeah,
I gotta finish up the credential thing, and then like once that's so that's about a year from now. So, but that'll be about when I have my book out. So I'll need to promote. So
final stuff. It'd be really fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It was fun just doing that panel a little bit ago. Like that was super. It's just nice to see everybody. To me, I enjoyed just hanging out with you and Ralph after. that's the stuff that's really.
It's a social occasion,
Yeah. But yeah. So make sure you guys check out Chris's stuff. Chris, thanks for taking the time, man. I know as a parent, man, once you get to like the 9:30,
we had this time. Yeah.
Yeah. But we made time.
We did it.
Thank you, Chris, for joining. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the bell so you get notifications. If you like listening to rock and roll music, I've been putting out a lot of solo albums of weird experimental stuff under Joshua Kemble. But it's not so weird and experimental that it doesn't have a hook. It's interesting. There's, they're catchy songs. Listen to my horrible voice sing at Joshua Kimball at all the streaming platforms everywhere. And then also, there's a story about faith and mental illness that tries to destigmatize hard conversations about mental illness by talking about my journey, kind of learning how to deal with, severe depression and panic disorder, as well as, my idiot child self deciding that it was a smart idea to cosplay as Indiana Jones for an entire year before cosplay was a word. So anyhow, check that stuff out. And then also the Jacob's Apartment, which is about two polar opposite young adult roommates that are haunted by their childhood pasts. It's about how, as adults, young adults, and even adults now, our childhood pasts kind of haunt us and shape where we end up. So it's a good book. It's a meaningful book. Deals with death and love and all that heavy jazz. So check out Jacob's Apartment. Also, just because my editor's cool, so give Graphic Mundi some of your money. They're a really good publisher. All right, Scott, where can everybody find your work?
Yeah, well, the other than the Kickstarter, again, link in the description. I have a new YouTube channel. It's called Retro Art Lab. Just search Retro Art Lab on YouTube; it should come up.
Subscribe.
And I'm chronicling the process. Every week, I'm dropping a new video showing how I created this whole concept, from coming up with the idea all the way to all the production and everything. So definitely check that out and help that channel grow.
Scott, you should bring that to Licensing Expo.
You know what? Kind of cool. Yeah, I might. Yeah, I'm actually going to Designer Con next week, just to kind of, not as an exhibitor, but just to kind of walk around and kind of check it out, because I know it's kind of hard to get into now, but I would like to kind of bring this to Designer Con.
Yeah,
my wax.
That might be the perfect place. I know it's definitely since it came from Pasadena to. I did it one year when it was in Anaheim.
Yeah,
it was so good, but I know that it's a different vibe in each place. Now it's in Vegas, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
Let me know how, because it's very.
Yeah, I might even take some footage there and
nice.
upload it and everything. So yeah, I'm excited to just.
Scott, I just pictured you walking around Designer Con with your lab coat, and you just walk up to a table and you're just like, wax packs, and it's like a guy selling waxes.
I love it. I never even thought of that. I could just string up the wax.
Dude, I have so many
Word
things
on the
like
street
so
is you like trading cards.
Yeah, you into this stuff? You got to go in costume, man. That's how you can notice.
I've worn the wax to conventions and things before, and when I went to Creative South, I did and everything.
The cute thing is when, because Scott is a very humble guy, but like he does have a decent YouTube subscriber count. So like there have been times where people recognize Scott, and if he's wearing his lab coat, it's like they totally recognize him. They're like, dude, it's you, it's Circland. Like they know him, you know.
It's you, that guy with the wears the lab coat. Yeah,
it's great. But
branding.
Like, a lot of people
branding. Yeah.
Now, they may not know who I am, but chances are, if you're a comic creator, you may have come across at least one of my videos, because it's a lot of averages, because I've got like thousands of videos.
But I love that. Yeah. I love that too, Scott, because like again, that's a testament to like you sticking true to that true blue stuff when you were first making it. It was a slow roll up with those comic videos, and like now it's like we have guests every other week that I've never met. They're really brilliant cartoonists, and they're all like crediting your comic thing to like why they're doing comics and stuff. That's amazing.
It's very very kind of, it's interesting and humbling when
Sorry, I'm like the hype beast today. but it's just, it's sincere. I'm my friend's biggest fans, Drink the Paint Water said, I'd love to see Designer Con maybe next year. You should do it too, Drink the Paint Water.
Oh, dude, if you come down. Yeah, I don't know when the next time I'm going to get down to Creative South. So, yeah, I'd love to hang out again. So
check out Drink the Paint Water's channel. He's making cool stuff. And also, what a great name for a channel.
I know, right?
Who hasn't had that moment? Like, I even had that moment teaching an art class where you're doing a demo. I've got my coffee over here because I'm exhausted, and then I got my water here, and 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna drink that paint water. All right.
Am I supposed to
how do we keep track of this crazy thing?
So this show we do every single week. It bounces back and forth between Josh's channel and my own channel. If you want to know when exactly we're going to go live, whose channel it's going to be on, who the guest is, all that stuff, there should be a link in the description to our mailing list for Artcasters. We don't spam you or anything. The only time we ever send out an email is usually around 30 minutes before we go live, just to alert you and just to make it less confusing, because it is a little confusing the way we kind of structure this podcast going back and forth. But but that's there to just let people, make it easier for people. So definitely just subscribe to that, and just know that you're not going to get any spam or anything. You're just going to be alerted when we're about to go live. So yeah,
Awesome, great seeing you guys. Thanks.
thanks to the chat. Yep. Sorry,
Yeah,
you said it.
you guys rock. All right, we're gonna close out. Bye.
Bye.
By the way, Cosmonaut, go check them out. They're